that were passed in the budget, and likely lead to there being fewer nurses. So like people who depend on having like an in-home aide could lose that. And
Okay, can you
there
try
is a
that
possibility
one more time,
that
please?
the funding will be restored, but that isn't guaranteed. It's based on revenue increases in this tax.
Can you try a radio check one more time, please?
Try the radio check.
Okay, so you recommend a no vote on 35?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like,
If
what do you
anybody
mean?
wants to
Like, what
see
frequency?
which
What's going on?
programs get increases and which ones get them removed.
Okay, I got you.
I asked
No worries. It's because I wanted
from
to be able to hear
voter
you
guide
in case you needed me
this entry.
and be tuned in to the
Okay, thank you.
Station.
Now, we get to a really important one.
but also because I want to switch CTAF
in particular before
in a little bit,
camera
you know,
off.
and then be able to
36.
switch and monitor that.
This is a huge
Gotcha.
ballot initiative that would affect a lot of people's lives. Can you talk about where it comes from and where we should vote?
Yeah, Prop 36 is, I think, the scariest thing on this ballot.
Okay, we're gonna turn
Is
right.
massive incarceration bill,
You're
supported by
slightly about
prosecutors
10
and,
degrees. Okay, 1, 2.
big retail corporations. Basically, in 2014, let me go back a little even before that. In 2011, the California prison system incarcerated nearly twice as many people as it was designed to hold. So that was about 156,000 people. And the Supreme Court actually ruled that this violated incarcerated people's Eighth Amendment right, which protects against cruel and unusual punishment. And they basically told California, you gotta cut prison population by about a third. So a couple years later, this ballot measure called Prop 47 was introduced, and it successfully reduced levels of incarceration, which also, by extension, drastically decreased the cost of operating prisons. And it did that by reducing a bunch of sentencing enhancements. It made a lot of felonies, nonviolent felonies, into misdemeanors, and like reduce three strikes laws. So Prop 36 would basically reverse everything Prop 47 did. It would bring back three strikes laws. It would add enhancements for various drug crimes, including possession. So the little like meme I'm trying to tell people to get normies to get excited about No 136 is tell all the 365 party girls that Prop 36.
So the 495 descend via the Ocean 5 arrival, runway 33 west. The Boston altimeter is 3014.
3014, Ocean 5 arrival, 2 left, off the flight set.
So basically, even with all of this stuff, all of these changes, California is still at 118% capacity in its prison systems. And not surprisingly, Black people are disproportionately incarcerated in California. The statistics on this are not something that are published, but my best estimate based on the data that's available is that about 1 in every 49 Black adults in California is locked up in a jail or prison at any given time. And that's like,
good evening, Boston Center. Buenas noches. 6 Comanche Piper 69er Mike Oscar, flight of 2, entering your airspace 7 miles northwest of Greater Binghamton Airport at 13,000 with final destination Syracuse. Good evening.
That happened, you know, like I think it's almost like died down a little bit, but like obviously, you know, 2022, 2023, that was like all the fucking media was talking about was smash and grab robberies or all of this stuff, and you know, of course, we knew that the answer was
Number 69er, Mike Oscar, Boston Center. Hello, radar contact. All other members of your flight squawk standby.
I really think, yeah, this is one of the most
Very kind, standing by, 69 Mike.
Voting for anywhere else, vote against 36. Like, you know, like this is
Stand by.
Why voting down ballot is really important, because people's lives will be shaped by this initiative 100%.
Literally the most important thing. Like, your vote for president isn't going to, like, no matter who you vote for president, like, is not going to change things like this. Like, this is why, like, this is the most important thing. These are the most important things, absolutely. And it's like, to your point where you were just talking about, Brett, like, Prop 47 out. You know what I mean? Over time, the drop in the crime levels that we've been seeing since like the 80s and 90s, and like the horrors of the crime and incarcerated situation in the 80s and 90s. Like, the reason why we've come a long way is because of things like Prop 47, and they want to undo Prop 47 to actually make true this fantasy land that they insist we truly live in, where crime is just this constant thing, where like going outside in Los Angeles is just fucking bedlam, chaos, fucking just constant crime and violence in the streets.
Right.
Like, it's literally not true. It's a fucking lie, and they are trying to create this reality by undoing everything, all of the work, which still needs to go further, and we need to double down, triple down on, to undo the horrors of the 80s and 90s in places like LA.
Data Separation Alpha is current at Syracuse. Expects the ILS runway 28 approach.
I want to say a few more quick things. The money that was saved in Prop 47, which is hundreds of millions of dollars, goes to like rehabilitation programs and things like that. So like that money benefits communities, and that money will also be taken away if Prop 36 passes. The second thing is about 60,000 more people will probably be incarcerated.
Box 8783
those people will be black.
Box 8783, leaving my airspace. Washington Center is offline. Radar service terminated. Exchange approved.
General population.
22.8 after 1
Yeah.
And then I think the last big point I wanted to make is that right now it's a misdemeanor to steal anything under $950, and a lot of prosecutors and conservatives have made the point like, oh, well, you can like go into a store and steal $900 every day and it's never a felony. And it's like, okay, well, people are...
Number 69er, Mike Oscar, descend and maintain 10,000.
Trump says they're bringing calculations.
69 Mike Oscar, flight 2, climb, descend, flight level 10,000, 69 Mike Oscar.
But I organized with a mutual aid group, and I like talk to people every single week. And
I'm gonna start descending now, midnight.
Can't afford
Yeah, I'm ready.
And they just straight up depend on shoplifting a lot of the time. And even when they get caught and go to jail, it's like they don't have like, what are you gonna do? Starve to death? Like, no, you're gonna like steal a granola bar. And so like this is a real thing that's happening.
Number 69er, Mike Oscar flight, fly heading 020, vectors for final.
I forget what the exact number is, but it's certainly over $100,000 a year to
Flying, heading 0206 Mike Oscar for vectors for final.
Who will get these 3 strikes on non-violent, small shoplifting charges, and be sent to state prison for decades because we love cops. I don't know.
Yeah, because the prison industrial complex has to keep on churning. That's why. Yeah.
Nervous midnight.
I mean, and you think about all of the homeless as well that we're...
It's a thought in 10 minutes, advising of your intentions no later than 15 minutes. The time now is 0339 Zulu, change to advisory frequency approved.
You know, the desperation that you're pushed into further and further and further, like, consider...
Was he calling me?
How much do you spend on groceries? It's probably getting a bit more expensive, right? It's probably costs you a bit more, and like, you know, if you are put into more and more desperate situations, and you're
calling me?
more and more often to fucking stay alive.
I don't think that was for you, no.
You're gonna be racking up racking up, you know, price tags.
There was the
Just like
Does
you're
it
just
affect your
basically
clearance for someone?
ensuring that people more easily fall into these cycles and never, ever, 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 ever get out.
Yeah, of course. Okay, well, let's move on. We have a lot of LA local initiatives that I wanted to talk about too. Like DD, we can start with DD, I think.
Could we actually talk about the DA real quick?
Oh yeah, sure.
Yes.
We're on the side so this is along with Prop 36, the thing that is making me lose the most sleep.
Yeah.
So, unfortunately, I think George Gascon is probably going to lose. He's been like wildly outspent.
a big chief.
Challenger is a
Hey girl, can you please check ATIS?
as an independent right before
It is.
he
Will do.
filed to run for this office. He ran as a Republican in the race for Attorney General of California in 2022.
Looks like we got calm winds, 8 miles visibility,
appointee.
66 degrees
Basically,
Fahrenheit.
for those who don't know, George Gascon ran for TA in 2020
Not
and
much
so
to speak
progressive. He instituted a
Thank you,
lot
thank you, thank you.
of changes to policies. Like he ended practices like trying children as an adult, which like drastically disproportionately are Black children charged as adults. He got rid of cash bail. He got rid of the death penalty. LA County was the #1 county for the death penalty until George Gascon took office. He's also done like some more proactive things. He's gone after corporations for wage theft. And you know, George Gascon is certainly not perfect. He has declined to prosecute a lot of police for specifically for murder and shootings. He has prosecuted them for other things. I believe he's only prosecuted one cop for murder. And he did.
This is great.
Announced that he was prosecuting Zionists who attacked protesters.
01316 Tiger Romeo, Boston Center, hello, ident.
He survived a couple of recall attempts from right-wing people who were largely reacting to the retail crime frenzy, which the corporations behind were forced to admit that they lied about the statistics they were pushing. So basically, in this primary in March,
036 Romeo, radar contact 100 miles southwest of the Millinock VOR. Climb and maintain 8,000.
I'm fine with all of these things. I'm fine with LA County's jail system having 7 times more Black people than white people proportionally.
So the 495, expect the ILS runway 33 left approach.
32 left, Delta.
Primary
Right.
was the most conservative. So it seems like that could be a good thing because it would allow like George Gascon to be like
Number 69, Mike Oscar, flight, descend and maintain 5,000.
But he hasn't really done that too much.
Flight in the sand.
And Nathan
Sorry, flight in the sand. 5,690 Mike Oscar.
About not
We can descend at the
basically
faster rate.
refusing to acknowledge systemic racism. He was asked about,
Roger.
3 strikes laws, for example. Prosecutors can add sentencing enhancements. And he was asked directly, so what do you have to say to critics who say 3 strikes laws are used like, I believe the statistic was 45% of 3 strikes enhancements apply to Black people, and he just said, oh, well, I can't predict who commits crimes. That's up to them. And it's like, okay, well...
Yeah, that shows a severe lack of understanding of this whole system. Like, for real, yeah.
Well, he's saying a lot there. I can't predict who commits crimes. Well, I mean, we do have like data on this, and like who ends up getting incarcerated and who gets arrested, and like, and you know, we have data that we can look at. So like, we kind of, sort of can, if you know what I mean. Like, I don't know.
And bias in policing and wrongful conviction. Like
Exactly,
we have data
yeah.
on all of this, and to ignore that is very racist.
Yeah.
And you know, one argument that I think George Gascon made in his campaign, his re-election campaign, that I think
Is this too steep? Is this good?
Nathan Hockman has criticized him for
No,
saying,
we're good.
"Oh, George Gascon did this blanket thing."
Oh,
Comfortable all the way down to like
I'm
2K.
not going to apply
Tory
this
Center and ignore that.
against
My apologies.
anyone for certain types of crimes. And George
That wasn't-
Gascon said, "Okay, well, you're saying that you blanketly are going to charge everyone, even though we know like people who are connected are not going to have those enhancements happen. Like,
Yeah, of course.
it's just a lie. Like, so incarceration has dropped 2,700 by 2,700 people in LA County since George Gascon took office. So
Don't worry about it, dude.
Nathan Hockman winning
Shit happens and they know
that
about it too.
reversed, and if Prop 36 also passes, I think Nathan Hockman will blow past that number.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about? Yeah. Can you talk a little bit about the implications that this might have on the right to protest, or the free speech laws and things like that? Because the DA is very much the person responsible for deciding if protesters are charged and what they're charged with and how severely the state goes after them, right?
Definitely. And we've seen in the city of LA, the city attorney has encouraged the LAP to target certain protesters. I don't necessarily know that the DA will do that, but he certainly has a very conservative political perspective.
I'm going to keep it
under 130.
I think we'll see a lot more
For the gear speed.
going forward.
Hi.
It's this isn't an area of expertise for me, but it definitely will change the calculus.
Number 69, Mike Oscar, turn right heading 060.
Campuses, at sweeps.
Turning right, heading 06069 Mike Oscar.
Yeah, and I mean, even considering what happens at the top of the ballot with this and Trump's initiatives to go after this.
Number 69, Mike Oscar, flight, expect the ILS runway 28 approach.
I mean, even recently.
Expect ILS runway 28 69 Mike Oscar.
And things like that. Like, we're already seeing the Democrats in LA City Council and the mayor and stuff lining up and chomping at the bit to suppress free speech. So having a Republican DA in there that they can all hide behind and blame the things that they want to happen to us on, it's a very dangerous proposition in my opinion. So yeah, please vote for George Gascon. Let's try to prevent whatever we can do. Get your friends to vote for George Gascon. Reach out and hopefully we can fix this shit.
I stepped away for a
Oh,
moment.
shit.
Did you guys brush on both of their contrasting opinions on the death penalty?
No, we didn't.
Central Identification Box, we're back in 2 minutes.
I think I only said Gascon. So Gascon ended the death penalty. In LA County, we had more death row cases than any other county in the country, and that has stopped. And Nathan Hockman is very pro death penalty.
Very pro death
You
penalty.
guys got some bloodthirst.
Can actually stay with you on these sector turns. Now that I'm in trail, who's the funk?
Okay, well, where should we go next? Do you want to talk about city council or I definitely want to talk about David Kim. I would love to talk about and shout out David Kim for people who don't know.
Hey,
who
you're
might be
climbing,
living
by the
in,
way.
that district. What do you think?
Do we want to do the city measures as well?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, we can jump through the city measures real quick, maybe.
Okay, I'm gonna step away really fast too, but I'll be right back. I just need to use the restroom.
No worries. We can start with double D.
Yeah. So DD is okay. We were talking about the LA Fed tape scandal before with Kevin De Leon. So this measure is designed to partially address that scandal. So what they were talking about on the tapes was gerrymandering the fuck out of Los Angeles. Kevin De Leon, I believe, said, we're going to throw Nithya Raman's district in a blender, specifically because there was strong renter power. They talked about eliminating black voting power. And there was a lot of that shit going on. Basically, the redistricting process is currently each city council member appoints a commissioner to be on this commission to redraw the district maps every 10 years based on new census data. So that's not great because having political appointments decide where district boundaries are drawn leads to gerrymandering. And also it's sort of fake because like what happened in 2022 or 2021, I think it was actually, city council was like, we don't like this map, so we're just going to throw out all of your work, and they do whatever they want. Which, again, should not be able to do. One politician should not be able to decide. So, Measure DD would replace the politically appointed
Oh my god, the windmill.
commission with an independent one. Basically, people can apply to commissioners, they're screened, and then kind of randomly selected. Or 8 commissioners.
I'm stressing the fuck out.
Selected, and then those 8 commissioners choose the remaining 8 from the pool of applicants.
This is beautiful though.
They're supposed to try to reflect the diversity of the city, taking like race,
Treat it like any other fire approach
into consideration. Another thing right now is most people who are appointed
just happen to have a tag
the
along.
redistricting commission are like lawyers or like wealthy people who are connected, and this kind of opens up the opportunity for a lot more people to serve as commissioners.
That's awesome. Yeah, and I mean, I think, yeah, I mean, big yes on DD because, like you're saying, like, you know.
All right, radio check.
At the very beginning, you know, the conversation, the racist conversation about wanting to.
Number 826 Yankee, Boston Center. Go ahead.
LA, you know, in a way that favors themselves and their friends. We need all of the independent oversight that we can get over so many of these.
Delta 495, descend and maintain 3000.
This is a big one, so yeah, definitely yes on measure DD.
Also, I don't know if you,
Number 69,
I don't know if you
White, cleared direct Stoda, across Stoda at or above 3000, cleared straight in, ILS runway 28 approach.
Went off outside.
Yeah, it's going.
Clear direct Sturda and
So congrats to
clear
the Dodgers. We're
clicked approach runway 2869 Mikoska.
Alright, the aircraft calling, number 826 Yankee calling for VFR approaches at Norwood. Where are you right now?
I'm glad you brought up the racist.
Yeah, I don't know the waypoint. Oh, Stoda. Okay, got it.
But like,
We're gonna turn left
insidious.
at 9 here right now, actually.
They were talking about cutting up the power of black voters already, and like, you know.
And also we're gonna start sending 2100.
Voting power has already been.
Sorry, I hear myself and I can't speak English. 2100 is gonna be desired altitude at Stoda, 600.
And how everybody needs to be like that's why KDL is disqualified.
Right, number 826 Yankee cleared out of the Boston class Bravo airspace via flat runway heading. Maintain VFR at or below 2000, departure with me, squawk 0005.
A fun thing to think back on is that Joe Biden called on all of them to resign. And KDL didn't do that. He didn't.
No, he
Number 86 Yankee, rebat correct. Advisor of taxi, expect runway 15 right for departure.
resigned from or when he stepped down from his re-election campaign. He was like,
Delta 495, turn right heading 210.
one shameless fuck.
Yeah.
Fucking
he
hate
is-
you, motherfucker.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I haven't seen any polling on Isabel's race or you know, Julian Burgos's race, but I think it would be. I do hope that they win. You know, regardless of DSALA's mixed results with regards to their candidates thus far. But
Yeah.
who knows? Okay, so HH. Let's talk about HH.
HH is HH is a bunch of
Delta 495, turn right heading 300, join the plaza.
the important things really are they clarify the city controller's audit authority over city contractors and subcontractors. This was called into question when
No, Cessna 86 Yankee, what will be your first approach into Norwood?
Alchemy, which is a nonprofit that hires people with lived experience.
I
who are
think this means we can land at the same time, midnight.
or
I mean,
formerly
unless we can do a break off. Let me ask if I can do a break off.
I don't.
Yeah, Cessna 86 Yankee, what will be your first approach into Norwood? Sorry.
Those sorts of systems where
I might be able to pull off
you get people with
simultaneous.
lived experience.
Just stay to one side, like stay on the side that you would exit from.
More than a couple days of training, and
All right.
a lot of programs are supposed to be partnered with like a mental health professional.
Maybe stay back.
In
1,000
January,
feet. I don't know.
on a cold night,
You choose.
an Urban Alchemy employee.
It's up to you if you want to ask for it.
Spraying
If you want to ask for the overhead.
with a hose. Urban Alchemy actually did fire that employee. But the city controller, Kenneth Mejia, launched an investigation.
Syracuse, 6 Mike Oscar. Can
Though Urban Alchemy
we
is involved,
keep
they
the same
were like, no, and Kenneth
approach?
Mejia is targeting us.
I actually ignore that. 6 Mike Oscar.
So then the
Ignore that.
city
6 Mike
attorney,
Oscar.
like,
Sorry about that.
wouldn't back him up on
We're
auditing Urban
supposed
Alchemy and
to be
all
flying
that.
at night.
So anyway, now it's on the ballot to vote for it.
Oh, yeah, sure.
You should vote for it.
Just do simultaneous.
The other, what was the other
Just
one?
stay on like the.
Before we move on from Kenneth, I do think it's like,
Actually, Senator, I do have a question. 6 Mike Oscar. Wanted to confirm if simultaneous landing with my party was confirmed. I just wanted to confirm. 6 Mike Oscar.
Justify Kenneth Mejia's
That's approved.
from the voters when Kenneth Mejia,
Much kind. 6 Mike Oscar.
candidate in Los Angeles history, got more votes than.
Let's go.
Hell yeah.
The friction that Mejia has faced in doing his job and doing the job.
Okay, I'm gonna start turning left a little bit here.
Very resoundingly voted in order to do, is really despicable. So yeah, let's give Kenneth all of the ammo and abilities that we possibly can. I'm a big believer in Kenneth's ability.
Number 86 Yankee, advise ready for departure.
Allow us as voters to understand how the city works in a better way, you know.
Yeah, the work his office has done has been like really instrumental in a lot of organizing, being able to communicate information and sort of strategize how to work.
Okay, runway in sight. I'll go ahead and take, I don't know what side. Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, once we get closer and we can see the taxiway exits, then we can decide what side.
The numbers that I have access to and the graphs and
I see the light though.
It's priceless, and the
Yeah,
fact
fair
that I
enough.
can just tweet at him and ask a question and get my question answered about some of the statistics that he's putting out is unbelievable. Yeah.
Big Mejia fans here.
We're getting 30.
Max 419 Boston Center, 5x5.
I just said he has a really
Apparently
great
it's calm on
team
the ground.
also. The team
Yes.
is that
100%.
really effective.
The map 419 Wings IFR3 is approved. Cleared to Martha's Vineyard as filed. Maintain 2,000. Expect 6,000 ones intermittent after departure. A departure with me. Squawk 4757.
II is sort of the same thing, where it's just a big hodgepodge of stuff, but it also has important aspects. It prohibits employment discrimination against LA City employees on the basis of gender identity and gender expression. And most of the other...
In Mach 419, reback correct, advisor of taxi, expect runway 23.
To make revenue, which is, like, fine.
Alright, it's looking like we're going to be exiting to the left for GA parking, so if you want to land on the left half of the runway, I'll land on the right half.
To lease LAUSD school spaces when they're closed to create more recreational spaces.
Got it, thank you.
For like, then parkport areas.
3-3 left, clear to land.
I think that's really it in terms of the stuff that's worth getting into in that.
Real quick, do you know how you get on the ballot?
Right now, reach Yankee, hold position for landing traffic opposite direction.
How come Krikorian is the only one on this that's like on everyone?
Number 69 Mike Oscar, runway 28, clear to land.
Yeah, so I believe you have
Clear to land, runway 28, 69 Mike Oscar.
to submit opposition.
Interesting.
I'm not 100% sure if you do with the city, but I know, like with the state, you have to. So, I think it's really just a matter of...
Number 316 Tego Romeo, advisory of the weather and NOTAMs of the Concord Municipal Airport and when able, state airports requests.
Information, especially on the city level. So I think it really is just a matter of...
Attention on frequency estimation Bravo is now current at Syracuse altimeter 3011.
Sure. Okay, well the next one, you have yes for ER.
3011 at Syracuse.
I trust you. But FF is actually one I wanted to talk about because you recommend a no vote, and this seems like very obvious in my opinion, right? Like, do we want the city of LA to pay another $109 million for cops to transfer their pension into a different pension fund? No, like we should obviously like oppose that kind of ridiculous spending for cops.
I'm doubting myself.